The Irish Song and Recitation Festival, home of song, story, and poetical proverb. You are at the Irish Roots Cafe, and I am Mick the Bridge, your host. This is one of 3 broadcast series here at the cafe. The other 2 cover Irish Family History Worldwide and the History of the Irish in America. Oroshe da Vahawalia. So step right up to the microphone, folks. Consider calling in at 816-256-3360. Then you just speak, sing, or play your piece proudly into my phone recorder. If it fits, we will place it on the air in a future show. But remember, it's all for free and it's all for fun, and tens of thousands of our listeners are looking forward to each show. And why is that? Because every day's a holiday at the Irish Roots Cafe. Reach me anytime, and be sure to read my show notes for this episode on my webpage at www.irishroots.com. Now let's move into the big back room here at the cafe and have a listen to what's being served up today. Welcome to the Irish Roots Cafe, where every day's a holiday and there's always room for one more. And today that one more is Peter Adams. He's just got through singing, what was that? Sleeving Them On?
Sleeving Them On.
Ah, yes, and we're moving on.
The Mountains in Tipperary, the anthem for the County Tipperary.
Well, that's right, and we've also covered the anthem for Northern Ireland, which was
the Derriere.
Derriere song, yes, Danny Boy. And boy, there's a lot more to cover. We've got just 4 songs left to do it in. I'm going to try to pick the right 4 just so this festival goes right. Those folks out there are loving it. Or 5 more. Yeah. Boy. Of course, if we talk them into it, we go 6 or 7. But I think that's pressing our luck. Everybody's vocal cords goes out after a while.
It's true. You know, and when I've sung a number of songs, or whether I was singing a wedding or a funeral, that people don't really... You get tired. Because it's
right.
The breathing in the lung and the forcing of your voice out and to project, and it wears you out. People don't realize it. It really does.
You might have a special aspect. You know, I'll listen to the 4 tenors and love them and watch them on TV. As a singer yourself, when you watch them or hear them, what strikes you? What do you see that maybe just a regular old person casually listening might not notice?
Well, I know, like Pavarotti always had a handkerchief in his hand.
Yeah?
Because he sweats so badly. He did. He's gone now. We lost a great man. But you perspire terribly.
Okay.
Because you're working in there.
Well, that's right.
And the lights, of course, all those other factors that people don't realize that are having an impact on you.
So there's a danger of losing all the moisture.
Oh, sure.
In your body.
And you have to have, and there's water. I always have a thing of water when I'm singing.
Oh, and if you go dry, your voice, I imagine, would really start to...
Exactly. Oh, it's terrible.
Oh, my gosh.
Though I have learned over the years to sing around or over my colds.
Right, that's a special technique.
Yeah, and you have to be able to... I was doing a wedding a few weeks ago, and the organist said, you do have a cold. I could hear it. And then it was... It wasn't long after that she says, well, seems like you blew it out of you. It's gone.
Boy, that's the luck of the Irish. There must be some skill there that we don't know about. How many times have you been to Ireland altogether,
22.
Peter? 22. And I imagine you've covered, well, just about every piece of the land that's out there. Maybe you got 1 or 2 places left to check out.
Oh, yeah. And what I did is I spent a lot of time in a lot of them.
Right.
But then there's some counties where I didn't get to spend a lot of time. Like this summer, I spent more time in Mayo and in Donegal. And I usually spend time, and I did. I spent a month in Kerry. But I did spend a week up in Mayo. Oh, I love Mayo. It's gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
They have a huge coastline.
Oh, that's right. And there's, isn't it Granuel's castles up there, too?
Yes. Oh, there's so much there. And it's another one of those places the tourists haven't found it yet, and I like that.
There's a little place in Lewisburg, a little museum
Yes. Yeah.
type thing, and Malloy's place is there. He had a little pub from the Chieftains.
Yes. Yes, that's right.
So yeah, that was always very interesting. And they've got wasn't there some stories about the salmon of knowledge up in the Mayo area? Some of the old folklore I know. And Water's been talk about Granuel. She was like the pirate queen of Ireland.
Sure.
Even met with the Queen of England.
Yes. And up in Mayo, between Mayo and Galway, there's the Killary Forge, and that word it's a harbor, but it's a very deep harbor, and it's where the British hid their navy during World War I when the German planes were bombing.
Oh,
and they were looking for them.
Yeah.
And the navy was scooting away because they knew that it was happening, and they pulled into this fjord, and the Germans didn't know they were in there.
Refuge
and it's a beautiful spot. Again, it looks from a mountain and looks down onto this fjord there, and or the bay, however you want to call it. But it's just beautiful, just a beautiful spot. Mayo has more beautiful spots than you can. We walked along the beach in Mayo.
Oh.
Gorgeous. And while we're walking, here comes this lady, walks up to us. Hello. And are you Americans? You can tell by your dress. Right. She was from Northern Ireland. She was down there on a little vacation for a week. Loved to come down to Mayo, and it's just something, and just walk right up to you, start talking.
Yeah, that's
the people
nice.
are very friendly, wonderfully friendly.
And you're right next to Donegal, aren't you, to the north?
Yes, well, Sligo and then Donegal.
Oh, okay. I know that if you made a little jut there, you could get to Donegal real quick.
Oh, you can. Yeah, it's how the country is designed. People don't realize that there's a east-west coastline in Mayo and Ireland.
That's right.
Where everybody usually thinks it's north-south. Up at Mayo and into Sligo, it's east-west.
Now, let me see. The Shannon River covers a lot of counties in Ireland. How far does it go? Does it go up into Mayo?
Cavan.
Oh,
goes into County Cavan.
The Rileys are from Cavan. The Rileys and the Rourkes historically.
Yes, very big from Cavan. Yeah,
I'll be doggone.
And across the border, where my Rileys are from, is in Fermanagh.
Oh,
it's just over the border there.
Yeah. Have you gone up the Shannon in those boat tours they have?
No, I haven't. I've crossed the Shannon from Talbot Harbor.
Yeah.
And taken the ferry across, because if you take the ferry,
to Killimer.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And when you're traveling by car or by coach, and you want to go back up into Limerick, and instead of going through Limerick City and driving all the way, you save 150 miles by taking the ferry over.
And plus, you feel like you're taking a special journey.
And it's great. And you wait, and here comes the ferry, and you load on. You get out of your car, you go upstairs, you stand on the above deck, and you're on the River Shannon.
But the one thing that surprised me the first time I took that little trip was all of a sudden I said, "What's that big building over there?" It was the nuclear power plant. I thought, good gosh.
No,
what is it?
They don't have a nuclear power plant in Ireland.
What kind of power plant is it?
Oh, it is a power plant.
Yeah. Oh, I thought
but
somebody
it's not nuclear. Yeah.
Somebody told me, and I said, "Well, I've never heard of nuclear."
And
Ireland's supposed to be a nuclear-free
It is.
zone.
It's nuclear-free.
Yeah.
And one time there's, the nuclear plants, the structure of it, how it looks like an upside-down cone.
Right.
I've seen those in Ireland, but there is no nuclear. There are other plants.
That's good
that
to know.
they use. Yeah, but there is no nuclear plant in Ireland.
But boy, you sure see that symbol floating across, and you go, "I wonder what that is."
That's right. Yeah.
It's a good thing Ireland would be a good place to take refuge in if there was ever trouble.
Oh. I take refuge there every year. When you get to Ireland, of course, there's of the airports, you can go into Dublin, you go into Shannon, and I like going into Shannon. It's the smaller airport. It's the friendlier airport. And, of course, when you come in and you come into Shannon, you come down onto the coast of Ireland, and then you turn in and you go up the River Shannon.
Right.
And then, of course, the river continues going because it then runs through Limerick and then continues north. And it's the longest river in the British Isles.
Now, that's interesting.
Yeah, the longest river.
And my great-grandmother drowned in the River Shannon, according to family history. And the rest of the family came over, but she stayed behind. And I'm telling you, her sons and grandchildren remembered that, passed that down, and they had a fear of the water at times that was just in the back of your mind, because when you're a 2 or 3 year old boy, you say, "Oh, your mother drowned in the River Shannon," or "Your grandmother drowned," and it was just a story. And my grandfather woke a couple times up in a cold sweat, and one of my uncles told me, he said he had a dream about drowning. Isn't that funny?
Well, I've never told you this before.
Huh?
I cannot swim.
Right?
And I grew up not far from the Atlantic Ocean
Right.
in New York, in Queens, Long Island. And my brother can swim. He's magnificent.
Yeah.
But I can't. My mother was afraid of the water.
Yeah.
And I asked her one time, I said, and she kept me from it because I was the baby, kept me from it. Her uncle drowned in Ireland, and my grandfather brought that same fear. That's where we got it.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that
And
amazing?
the Irish, when it comes to water, I mean, first, they're surrounded by it.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the United States has water, but you have realizing how small Ireland is. There's water everywhere. You're not very far from the water.
That's
and
right.
then the wonderful lakes and fishing, major industry.
That's right.
And livelihood.
Mm-hmm.
And, in fact, the sweaters. The different styles of the sweater and the Erin sweaters, where they say they originated on the Erin Islands off of Galway.
Right.
But the design on the sweater, the reason they were all different is that each design represented a family. And they said when the fishermen wore them, if something happened, they could identify the body because of the design on the sweater.
Yeah, the distinctive pattern that was
right.
woven into that sweater
And
for that individual.
The woman, the wife or the mother would make the sweaters, and it would have a symbol, and they'd know exactly what it was.
That's right. That's right. Well, anything else?
Because that's when they were made by hand. Now, the machine shop.
That's right. The Bonine sweaters.
Exactly.
And now they're trying to say there's a sweater design for each name.
No, there's never been such a thing.
No, it was very informal. It's sort of like people trying to say there's a kilt for the Irish. There's no such thing as an Irish kilt.
No, not at all.
But they're still trying to sell them.
Oh, I know it. And I've seen guys walking around with the kilt, and I'm going, oh, you don't know, do you?
They say, this is the Flaherty kilt. What do you think? And
No,
you're,
it
oh,
isn't.
geez, you fool. It's a beautiful kilt, but it's not the
lovely.
Flaherty
It's
kilt.
Not, sure isn't. Oh, and I love when they just make them green.
Oh,
good
yeah.
for you. Yeah.
Or gold. They have
Yeah,
some
sure.
gold for the pipe band from way back when, but it still wasn't from the Irish families.
No, not at all.
At
not
all. There is that song. I think I'm going to pick Where the River Shannon Flows as the next challenge song for you out there in the.
That's a beautiful song.
It is. And it goes. Most people don't know how old that song is.
I don't think I know how old it is.
Well, I tell you what, it goes back. James Russell wrote that song in 1904. He had a play he put on about. They called it the Maids to Order, about some Irish maids. And he and his brother played the lead role. But he wrote it in 1904 to spruce up his play, which had been running since 1870. Can you imagine 34 years of, it was actually a skit, not a play. He'd come into.
But the same one ran for 30 years.
For 34 years about Irish maids. And there's more to it that I don't think I'll go into for this little segment here. But there's a big story behind this, I'll tell you that. And just suffice it to say that after this 34 years, a few years after that, there was a society formed by the Irish, and it was the United Irish Society, and they had a working group with the name of the Society for the Prevention of Ridiculous and Perversive Misrepresentation of the Irish Character.
Only the Irish could come up with such a title.
Oh, that's right. And these guys who were dressed up as girls, maids, making fun of the Irish, I think, had done it just quite long enough. 3 decades was it. And so it seemed they started getting every night bad, rotten eggs thrown at them and vegetables and whatnot up on the stage. So finally they had to give up. But this song, Where the River Shannon Flows, was written to spruce up that play.
Wow, isn't that something?
You'd never guess
And yet it's a beautiful song. It's a love song.
That's right.
But about the Shannon, and it's just beautiful. And the Shannon runs up to Loch Ray, up in the north, where it says the 3 counties meet. And I just love it. It's Roscommon and Tipperary, and there's the lake, and the river runs into one side of it and out the other side of it, and then it finally ends up in Cavan. But the Shannon's a beautiful river, and the song, whether it was written because of that or not, still brings a very warm feeling about Ireland and about the river itself.
It's a great song, and we talked about how many people have put different words to the tune of Danny Boy.
Sure.
Well, the same thing has happened with Where the River Shannon Flows. I just took one real quick look, and they were saying that up in British Columbia, several songs spring from Where the River Shannon Flows and copied off that tune. So It's interesting how these songs are so good, people just sit down and put another set of lyrics to them.
What's it? There's a song, a great song called "My Lovely Leitrim,"
Yeah?
and at the end of it ends with where the river Shannon flows.
Yes, yes.
You know, I love lovely Leitrim, where the river Shannon flows. It's just that, because the river Shannon is an important part of Ireland.
Oh, that's right.
You know, and as it's kind of like that vein that runs through.
Yeah.
That's a life source.
And keeps them
And when
alive.
you think about that, and these characters who wrote it, whether they knew it or not, they were doing a favor because they wrote this beautiful song that made people love Ireland and realize the life that's in Ireland.
Oh, that's right. They had to have some appreciation of it, no matter what they were using it for. Well, you know what? I think that'd be a perfect song for our next challenge here.
Well, I sure hope I can remember the words.
You think you're up to it?
I'll try it. I'll try it.
You got a few people out there. I know it's their favorite tune, so they're going to be listening
they will.
particularly hard.
There's a couple of girls out there by the name of Shannon, actually. That's
Oh, there are now. Sounds good. Well, go out there, Peter, and we're going to talk to you just as soon as you're done if the crowd lets you come in.
all right. Thanks, Mike.
There's a pretty spot in Ireland I always claim for my land, where the fairies and the blarney will never, never die. It's the land of the shillalah. My heart goes back there daily to the girl I left behind me when we kissed and said goodbye. Where dear old Shannon's flowing, where the three-leaf shamrock grows, where my heart is, I am going to my little Irish rose. And the moment that I meet her, with a hug and kiss I'll greet her, for there's not a colleen sweeter where the river Shannon flows. Sure no letter I'll be mailing, for soon I will be sailing, and I'll bless the ship that takes me to my dear old Erin shore. There I'll settle down forever, I'll leave the old sod never, and I'll whisper to my sweetheart, come and take my name Asthore. Where dear old Shannon flowing, where the three-leaf shamrocks grow, where my heart is, I am going to my little Irish rose. And the moment that I meet her, with a hug and kiss I'll greet her, for there's not a colleen sweeter where the river Shannon flows.
That's a wrapper for today, folks. I'm Mick the Bridge at the Irish Roots Cafe. You can contact me at mike@irishroots.com or send your submission or your notes to Box 7575, Kansas City, Missouri 64116. And you can always reach me on the web at www.irishroots.com. Call up and leave me your message or your entry on my phone recording machine at 816-256-3360. Just do it today. And oh yes, any donation to keep this show going is appreciated. And remember, keep the best of your Irish heritage alive today.